What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I chose not to make this video a few days ago. It just didn't feel real because the stakes once again for this election, they just keep going up and up and up. And every single day I come to you and I have a new piece of information and I'm telling you I'm up in the air and I'm not sure where I'm going to go as far as where I'm going to vote. And it happened yet again because we've had another huge shakeup in the election. And let me tell you how this happened for me. I was actually going back watching old debates, and I'm going to play this clip for you because it's now incredibly relevant. I'm sure you've seen the title of the video by now, but let me play you this clip. Clinton, Trump, 2016 debates, and they're talking about the topic of the hour.
I want to ask you specifically, do you want the court, including the justices that you will name, to overturn Roe v. Wade, which includes, in fact, states a woman's right to abortion?
Well, if that would happen, because I am pro-life and I will be appointing pro-life judges, I would think that that will go back to the individual states.
But I'm asking you specifically, would you
If they overturned it, it'll go back to the states.
But what I'm asking you, sir, is do you want to see the court overturn? You just said you want to see the court protect the Second Amendment. Do you want to see the court overturn Roe v. Wade?
Well, if we put another 2 or perhaps 3 justices on, that's really what's going to be, that will happen. And that'll happen automatically, in my opinion, because I am putting pro-life justices on the court. I will say this, it will go back to the states, and the states will then make a determination.
So there we have it. In 2016, President Trump made it extremely clear where he stood on Roe v. Wade, and that is now incredibly relevant because following the death of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I think it was Thursday, maybe Friday, Trump has an opportunity to appoint a new justice, and he is this morning, I believe, said that he plans to do that. He's going to have a justice named by, I think he said Friday or Saturday. So with that, we have a lot of movement, a lot of interesting things happening. I figured rather than make this video as soon as it happened, let me wait until I have a little bit of data and we can talk about where the American people stand, because really that's ultimately all that matters. So going back, let's just give you a quick general overview as to where we are. McConnell came out and he said that I think this is from Saturday, Trump's nominee will receive a full vote on the floor of the Senate. Democrats, including former President Obama, said he's called the Republicans to uphold the precedent set in 2016 when they refused to fill the vacancy created by Justice Scalia, even though Obama had nominated Merrick Garland to the seat in March of that year. And that's kind of where we are. So once again, we have an opportunity, or let's not call it an opportunity. We have a situation where this is becoming extremely politicized. Last week, where was I? Last week, I thought 50-50, maybe Trump's got a shot, but I still think that he was still sliding. I think that some of the rhetoric that he's continuing to use is not really helping his case. Some numbers come out that indicate that despite the law and order message, people are definitely a little bit less. They're not feeling his message. They're not feeling his handling of the pandemic still. And I think these things ultimately will hurt him. But something like this, again, creates this opportunity for Trump to come back. And again, with it already being a tight race, he doesn't really need much wiggle room. So let me play Joe Biden's clip. Joe Biden, of course, is going to side with the Democrat establishment, saying that they don't want the president to actually name a justice at this particular time, that this should be a decision left to the new president.
Voters should pick the president.
Why is his audio so terrible?
The president should pick the justice for the Senate to consider. This was the position of the Republican Senate took in 2016 when there were almost 10 months to go before the election. That's the position the United States Senate must take today, and the election is only 46 days off. I think the fastest justice ever confirmed was 47 days, and the average is closer to 70 days. And so they should.
So, of course, that's where Biden is. And again, this is going to come down to the American people. So we do have a poll. This is a snap poll that was released by YouGov. I find YouGov I feel like they lean a little bit left, but the numbers still give us a pretty good indication as to the support, the favorability, I guess, the president enjoys at this particular time, because we're going to compare that to some data from 2016 on where Barack Obama's on the support that he had at that particular time on naming a new justice. So the poll found that 51% of voters believe that Trump should not appoint a nominee or should not appoint another justice this year, while 42% that he should move forward with a nominee. Slight majority, 48%, believe that the Senate should not confirm a nominee this year. 45% said the upper chamber should. 49% of respondents said they believe that Democrat presidential nominee Joe Biden would do a better job of picking a Supreme Court nominee, while 40% said Trump would. 11% of respondents were undecided. So definitely close, right? But then we turn it over to 2016, and then we have nearly 6 in 10, 57% said Obama should be able to make a pick, which he did on March 16th, sending a nomination to D.C. Circuit Chief Judge Merrick Garland. To Senate, another 40% said the next president-elect in November should take office, or taking office in January should be the person to tap the potential justice to fill the vacancy. In line with national polling on the issue, 64% to 31% said Senate Republicans should hold hearings on Garland's nomination, while only 37% said opposition to Garland's nomination would be justified on the mere basis that he was appointed by the current president and not the successor, compared to 58% who said it would not be. So let's talk about why you guys are all here, right? What new can we add to the conversation? Well, we can add the biggest and most important component, because this is America, right? All we care about is the money. So let's talk about the money. Things just got crazy. The New York Times reported from about 9 p.m. Eastern Time Friday, about 90 minutes after RBG's death was announced, ActBlue received $6.2 million in donations, the most ever in just 1 hour in the platform's 16-year history. That record was broken the following hour when $6.3 million was donated, more than $100,000 per minute. Saturday, after Trump announced he would be nominating a candidate for RBG's Senate seat this week, ActBlue raised another $70.6 million from 1.2 million contributors. What? All told, in the 28 hours after RBG's death, ActBlue reported receiving $100 million in donations from four Democrats. For perspective, Trump and the Republican National Committee raised $210 million in the full month of August. Biden and the Democratic National Committee raised $364.5 million in the same period. So, yeah, things are crazy right now. And like I said, when I first heard this, I thought this was again, I didn't want to make this video because I didn't want to seem insensitive, like, initially. But now I'm going to talk about the politics of it. RBG obviously was a beloved figure. Even President Trump showed some humanity. You know, again, I give every once in a while the guy shows that he's human. They showed his I guess he was landing Air Force One. He's on the tarmac or whatever, and I guess a reporter walks up to him and says, they just learned about her death. And in a completely off-the-cuff, unrehearsed moment, he showed compassion, he showed humanity, and he didn't politicize the moment, which I was just blown away. I mean, I figured he'd be decent, but I wasn't expecting him to not take a moment and make this political. So, good job. You can do it. Just try to do that a little bit more frequently, and I think you have a better shot at this thing. But yeah, he actually showed compassion. And then I think on maybe it was Saturday, maybe Sunday, Kayleigh McEnany, she was asked about this question of appointing a new justice. And she said that right now the president is just honoring the life of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And I was like, all right, man, every once in a while you listen to those advisors. So he showed a little bit of compassion, a little bit of humanity. But of course, right now, Monday morning, he's right back on it, and he's got plans to name a justice. And I think that it would be a huge. I think he would love to put the feather in his cap of being able to say he was able to at least appoint the justice that overturned Roe v. Wade. I think that's really what he's looking to do to cement his legacy, and especially even if he can just get that justice confirmed. Now, I've heard mixed reports on exactly how many days it's taken to report or to get a justice appointed. As far as the fastest ever, I think the lowest number I've heard was like 47, but then I heard like 52 or so, and we're just about that many days away from the election. But of course, if we have a situation where we have disputed ballots, disputed voting, that's going to go to the Supreme Court. That is going to go to the Supreme Court. So it is incredibly important at this particular moment that a decision is made as to whether or not the justice is going to be confirmed. And even still, I think this is going to be one of those factors that really is going to motivate people to get out and be activated and feel like, even though I may not have wanted to vote in this election, or even though I may not have, may have been indifferent, I now have to make a choice. And that's kind of where I stand. I feel a lot more motivated to get out and vote as of, Friday. Still undecided, but knowing that the balance of the court is right there, I think a lot of Americans are going to be activated. So I'm definitely going to be following this story extremely closely. I really am interested in the polling. Where are Americans feeling about this? The YouGov poll was only 1,200 people against a snap poll, so I don't expect it to be the most accurate. But I do see that it shows waning support for the president, and in such a tight timeline, who knows? Joe Biden. Why does it have to be Joe Biden? Don't you think I'd much rather talk about another politician other than Joe Biden? But this is who they've given me to deal with. So this is why we should have an age limit for Supreme Court justice, 20 years max. Yeah, I think this would be a great opportunity to start considering that. Or maybe we expand the court to a few more justices. I think there's a lot of questions that are now up in the air. I think Trump would probably go more traditional. He's probably not trying to get more justices. I think he really wants to get this done. So Trump doesn't care about what the Republican. There's clearly some type of something going on right now. The question is, what can the Dems do to block this? Oh, I'm glad you said that. Thank you. So I have a really great comment that came across my Twitter feed or something. I don't know where I got this from. I printed this out days ago, but it says, I've seen the meme showing that McConnell refused to confirm Garland in 2016 as a confirmation enough that I have to say something. This is not the same scenario at all. Let me educate you. In 2016, the Democrats held the presidency in the House. The Republicans held the Senate. It is the Senate's role to confirm Supreme Court nominees. President Obama nominated Judge Garland. The president, when nominating Garland, made the statement that he wanted the Senate to confirm him despite the close timing of the 2016 election. Every high-level Democrat echoed similar statements. By the way, this is 10 months prior to, not 47 days prior to the actual election. So not quite the same, but I just wanted to interject that because we have had a similar situation just a few years ago. Had the Democrats been in control of the Senate, we would now have a sitting South Carolina judge or Supreme Court Justice Garland. They would have not only accepted Garland's nomination for President Obama, but would have exuberantly confirmed his nomination per their own statements at that time. Now, Democrats are crying that McConnell shouldn't confirm a Trump nominee due to being so close to the election, despite the fact that they wanted to do just that in 2016, but didn't have control of the Senate. The Republicans now hold both the presidency and the Senate and are well within their constitutional rights to do so, just as the Democrats would have had they controlled the Senate in 2016. They're just angry that they didn't. These are facts. I'm sorry. And again, I have to agree. This is once again the problem with all of this, which is why I think if Trump would simply return to his 2016 message, he's got a winning platform by just returning to, hey, remember politicians? That's why they hate me. They're evil. They're out to, they're trying to, do the corporate welfare. They're trying to take advantage of the average American citizen. They're not they're not pro worker. I think that message still resonates to this day. But for some reason, he's kind of abandoned it in a way that I think is kind of damaging to him. But the Democrats would do the exact same thing. Like, cut the games. Like, I know it's awful, and I know that it sucks that this is extremely bad timing. Why couldn't she hang on for a few more months? But the Democrats would do the exact same thing. We'd have this exact same conversation. But that's not the case. And because of that, we know that Trump is he's gonna be aggressive about this. And this is something new to talk about, and we're not talking about his handling of the pandemic. On to the next thing. We're off the law and order message, and now it's about where does Joe Biden stand? Where does he want to go as far as traditional values and things like that? But the fact that they've raised $100 million for Democratic candidates in the last few days, people are definitely galvanized by this. So while I might have thought this was going to be a victory for President Trump, perhaps this is what the Democrats needed to really get people to stand up and say, okay, I was undecided, but I think it's time for me to get up and speak. So Election Day is going to be interesting. Hopefully we can start getting some early voting data. I don't think they really do that, but I would love to know if people are starting to report these votes so we can find out if the mail-in voting is going to start to have a big impact on the election. Again, we're just days away from the first debate, just 8 days away from the first debate. Trump, Biden on stage, lots of questions that we still don't know the answer to. And I think it is going to have an impact on the election. They're both criminals. Pick your poison. This is the illusion of choice our country gives us. That's right. The illusion of choice. Undefeated. So I'm going to cut this video only because I want to cut the video, but I'm going to be returning quickly because I have a bunch of things I want to talk about. And we're going to talk. If you guys like this video, make sure you give it a like. Subscribe for more. I'll see you guys soon.